Hello everyone, Jason here. This episode is on hyaluronic acid in regards to skincare. And I dedicate this episode to all the women in my life, especially my mom. I know throughout my life I've watched all the women constantly look for that serum or that skincare product that gives them that youthful, vibrant looking skin. And so when a friend of mine came to me about a year and a half ago, I kind of laughed, and they knew I'm into health. I've been in the health industry for 30 plus years. And so they came to me and said, Jason, you got to read this. And I'm like, yeah, I read it. It's like, wasn't really interested. And so, I tucked it away. And then a person in my life came to me and started talking about how she was getting wrinkles and she was all concerned about her skin. And I'm thinking, wow, it reminded me of that article that this person that came to me. So I didn't tell this person about that, but I thought, well, you know what? Before I recommend something, I want to try it out myself and see if it works. So I went back to that article, I read it, and it's like, oh yeah, you know what? I've heard of hyaluronic acid before. Hyaluronic acid is a substance that retains moisture. It's naturally occurring in our body. It's in our skin. It's in our eyes. It's in our joints in our body. As we age, the production of hyaluronic acid decreases along with collagen and elastin. And the result is our skin loses its hydration and plumpness. And you know how everybody's always looking at babies and, oh, they have baby skin, or even, I remember people used to, when I was in my 30s, people said, wow, you still have baby skin. How do you do it? I just didn't do anything. Well, I ate healthy, I ate organic food, and I had my diet regimen, which probably helped. But, people want that baby skin that they had when they were younger. So hyaluronic acid, I thought, as I read more about this and thought about it, it's like, wow, it's worth giving it a try. And so I went on Amazon and I bought hyaluronic acid powder. Just bought this brand because it said it was produced in America. So, and then the other part of the recipe that I bought is rose water. Heritage Store has been around forever, 30 plus years. As long as I've been in health food industry, I've been aware of this brand and I knew of its quality, so this is the brand I bought. And what I do is I take a glass jar, I put a 1/4 cup of rose water in a jar along with a 1/4 of a teaspoon of hyaluronic acid. Once that is in the jar, I shake up the jar, and then there's clumps in it. So what you do is you let it sit overnight. I put it in the refrigerator. That's what the recommendation is. It'll only last if you leave it unrefrigerated. This will last for a day or two. In the refrigerator, they recommend up to 2 weeks. I've even gone 2.5 to 3 weeks, and I have noticed after 3 weeks that it does begin to lose its efficacy. So after 2 to 2.5 weeks, if I still have some left over, I'll just pour it out and start with a new batch. Also, along with this, what I found, and just through experimentation, is I've added vegetable glycerin as a part of my regimen, and that'll come later, and I'll go through the process I go through here. So after I've made a batch that I keep in the refrigerator, what I'll do is in the morning after a shower, I will take the gel, pour it in my palm, probably if you think about a nickel or a quarter, about that much. But bottom line, what you want to do is you want to pour enough in your hand to where you can get a thin layer across both palms, and then you have enough to where you can apply it around all of your face. So all around your forehead, around your eyes, and all around your cheeks. Even I put it around my ears, get around my ears, and even on right underneath my jaw here. Now other people, they do their whole, their neck and everything. What I found is during the wintertime when it's really dry here, and that's another thing, you have to work with it and see what works for you. I found for me is during the wintertime, if a lot of times I'm in a hurry and I just don't have time to go through to kind of speed it up, I just only apply it to my face and these parts. And then after I do that, what I do is I steam my face. I've purchased a facial steamer, and I just go through each part of my face, and probably 15 seconds I'll have the steam on each part of the face, and I'll go through each section to make sure that all the hyaluronic gel is saturated with the steam. And what that does is the hyaluronic acid is absorbing moisture. And not only while that's happening, the steam is opening up my pores further, because I was just in a shower, a hot or warm shower. So that opened up my pores, and also with the added steam, that's opening my pores. And what that allows then is the hyaluronic acid that's saturated with water to then go down into my pores. And that's what we want. We want the hyaluronic acid that's decreased over age now to be back in our pores, in our skin, to add that plumpness. After that, I let my skin dry almost to where it's almost completely dry. I still like a little bit of moisture. If it completely dries, what I'll do is I'll just take some rose water, I put it in a spray bottle, and I'll just spritz a little bit around my face. And then what I do is I take vegetable glycerin, and then again I just take maybe a dime's worth. If you think about a dime, you'll just have to play around it and see what works for you. I spread it on both palms, and then I just pat it around and get a thin, very thin layer just all around where I put the hyaluronic acid. Now, one thing I did find out as I did this is there was a difference between, I noticed the skin started getting plump and shiny all over my face and right here, but my neck was dry. So what I've done is, glycerin is great for retaining moisture in your pores. So what I do is, you can go ahead and put the hyaluronic gel across your neck if you want. I just for time's sake on my end, I don't do that, but I found what really works well is to just, after the shower, spray the rose water on my neck, and then apply the glycerin along my neck like I do on my face. And that has, from my case anyway, that's worked really well. So what happens next? Well, you'll find is I let this sit for about 2 minutes when it's dry, and you'll find that your face is sticky. So you don't want to go out in the world with a shiny, sticky face. So what you do is you take any washcloth, put it under the sink with warm water. I wring it out, and then take off my glasses here again. I just take the warm washcloth and pat it over all parts of my face where I had applied the glycerin, to then get it to where now the glycerin has, what's happened is the glycerin has put a cap over my skin, specifically over the pores. And what this does then is it traps in the hyaluronic acid gel that we just put over our face. It traps the hyaluronic acid that's saturated with water within our skin. And as I found, it's brought more of a plumpness, more of a youthful look to my skin again. And I can really attest to this, because as I've gone into my 50s, I have noticed that my skin began getting drier and more wrinkles started appearing in my face. And as I've used this over the past year, I have noticed that slowly that dryness and the wrinkles have subsided, and I have more plump, youthful skin again. It's amazing. I think that concludes for today on the procedure I use. Then again, everybody has different skin types, and so you'll just have to play around with this. There's lots of articles on the internet, and you can read about how other people, what their regimens are. And it also depends on what part of the country you're in. I know, for instance, when I went and visited my parents in Arizona, it's very dry in Arizona. And so you may need to tweak your regimen a little bit. Where I live, during a majority of the year, it's very humid. And so the regimen I used works really well. But I found when I went down with my parents, I definitely couldn't forget the glycerin. The glycerin was a must just because it's so dry down there. To really keep your skin hydrated, the glycerin is a must. Well, I appreciate for joining me today and looking forward to next time.